Everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to apply Gaussian blur or median blur to any image in React Native's new architecture. So firstly we will be using OpenCV for this. Now what you will have to do is you will have to go to opencv.org/releases. Then you will have to click on this iOS pack as well as this Android pack. You will get two zip files. You just have to unzip it. I have already done that. Next, I have created a React Native project. Now to enable the new architecture, for Android we have to search for new arc enabled inside gradle.properties and make this as true. For iOS you will have to open your terminal, then cd to the iOS directory and then run this command. I have already ran it, so the new architecture is already enabled for me. Then firstly I will show you how to integrate OpenCV. Then I will write a lot of boilerplate code and I will just explain it to you. Then I'll show you the output. So first you will have to open the Android folder inside Android Studio. I have already done that. And for iOS you will have to open the XE workspace inside Xcode. I have already done that as well. Okay. Next, what we will have to do is so I had written the instructions, I forgot to paste it, so I'll just copy it from my Flutter app. Okay, so these are all the instructions which we have to do. I'll paste it inside app.tsx. Okay, so we are already done with this. For Android you have to go to file, new, import module. Then you will have to select the unzip file for Android. So I'll just click on this icon, go to my downloads directory. This is for Android and here you will have to select the SDK, click open. I will just name it as OpenCV. I'll click finish. Now this might take a little bit of time, so be patient. The next step which we have to do is once this is done, just make sure you go to settings.gradle and you should see something like this. Okay, I'm able to see it. Then you will have to go to build.gradle of your module app and I'll update the main SDK version to 24. Target SDK is 34 for me. I will do the same thing inside the build.gradle of update the compile SDK to 34, main SDK to 24, target SDK to 30. Now at the time of me recording, the maximum target SDK and compile SDK is 34. If you are watching this in future, make sure whatever is the latest you use that. Also over here we'll have to update it to Java 17 because that's the requirement of OpenCV. So I'm updating it inside build.gradle of OpenCV, so be careful. Then we just click on sync now. Once that is done, we can just go to file, project structure, dependencies. So let's give it a little bit of time to sync. Okay, then I'll just click on file, project structure, dependencies, click on this plus button, module dependency, click OK. Make sure your app is selected, click OK. Here we will select OpenCV, click OK, click apply, click OK again. So after you done that, if you go to build.gradle of your app, you should see OpenCV inside your app. I think that should be it for Android. Now for iOS, I have already opened the XE workspace. I will open my RN app. Okay, I'll go to downloads. I'll select this OpenCV.cv2.framework which is for iOS. Just drag and drop over here and make sure these checkboxes are checked. I'll click on finish. The next thing is we have to copy this, okay, all these files. So what I'll do is, I have already created this file. I will later on explain what exactly this file does. So first we will have to create an OpenCV wrapper header file. So I'll just right click, new file, okay, my Xcode has hanged. Okay, select header file, next give name as OpenCV wrapper, click create, and here I'll just copy paste this code. I'll explain the code later on. Paste it over here. Then we have to create OpenCV wrapper objective-c file. So I'll again go back to Xcode, next new file, select objective-c, next OpenCV wrapper, next click create, and here we'll have to change the extension to .mm because we want to make it objective-c++. I'll just copy this code and I'll paste it over here. And next we will have to create a prefix header file. So just right click, new file, search for pch, click next, click create, and then we will have to copy this code and paste it over here. Then we'll have to go to, okay, let me just check once more. We have to add this import inside our bridging header as well. So go to your, okay, we don't have a bridging header file. So to easily create a bridging header file, we'll create a new file, okay, Swift file, name it whatever you feel like. I will just name it my transform. Okay, I'll click on create. Xcode will ask, do you want to create a bridging header? Click yes. Go to my bridging header, I'll paste this over here. Alright, then I'll just copy paste this. By the time, what I'll do on my Android side is, just to check OpenCV was properly integrated, I will click on this hammer icon. This will just build our project. In case if there is any error, I'll come back. Okay, again coming back to our iOS project, just select your project at the very top. We need to update this, I think minimum deployment target to 14. I think 14 is fine. We'll change it over here as well. Then we'll select again our targets, go to build settings, search for prefix header, okay, and okay, why we are so again build settings, search for prefix header, okay, so here, and we will have to make this as yes, and inside this we just have to double click and paste this thing, but I think we don't require this, so we will have to paste something like this. Alright, even I'm not sure, we'll come back. I'll just click on enter. I'll go back to my prefix header. Next, what you will have to do is, currently I don't have my iOS device with me, so what I'll do, these OpenCV functions cannot be run on a simulator, so I am not running it. I just want to build it just to check whether OpenCV was properly integrated or not. So for that I will select this any iOS device ARM64, okay, and then I will just do command B. So this will start our this build process. Let's check for Android. It is still going on for Android as well, so I will come back as soon as this process has been completed. Okay, now let's look at the code. So firstly, I want you to open two documentation. First is this fabric native components.md as well as this turbo modules.md, because things will differ quite a lot for Android and iOS. So let's get started. So firstly, what we will have to do is we will have to create this RTN mypicker. Now this is a turbo module only for Android, so you will have to open this documentation. The reason why I'm using this turbo module is because because if I use the React Native image picker, it will only give me the image URL. How will I apply the OpenCV code which is present on the native Android side? That's why I have to create my own turbo modules. Also there are some permissions things which we have to give. I know we can use something like register for activity result, but it's very difficult to use that inside a turbo module. That it results in circular dependency. I don't want to get into that. Anyways, so just open this docs. Firstly, create a folder called RTN mypicker. Inside that, create a file called package.json. I have copied this from docs. Only this name has been changed, this has been changed, and this has been changed, and this has been changed. Next, we really don't require a podspec file because this is for iOS, but anyways I have created it. Again, I have copied it from docs and only this name has been changed. Then create a JS folder. Inside that I have created a TypeScript file. Again, I have copy pasted it from docs. Only thing is I have added this method called pick image, which returns a base 64 string, and here as you can see I have changed this particular name. Then I have created an Android folder. Inside that I have created build.gradle file. Again, I have copy pasted everything from docs. The only change which I have done is I have updated the Kotlin, the build.gradle version. I have added apply plugin Kotlin Android. Then compile HDK version is 34. I have changed this particular namespace, and here I have added Kotlin standard lib 1.9.22, and here I already have integrated OpenCV, so I can directly use this inside my turbo module as well. Next, go to src mypicker package.kt. Again, I have so you will have to create all these folders, and I have copy pasted everything from docs. Only this name has been changed, and this mypicker module everywhere has been changed. Rest everything is same. Now coming back to mypicker module.kt, again I have copy pasted everything from docs. The next thing which I have changed the names in some places, and I'm also extending activity event listener. Then this mat is coming from OpenCV, so you can copy all these imports. Here I have this request of once we pick an image. Then I have created this promise, and we are listening for our listener, activity event listener. Once this pick image method is called, so we are overriding the method which we have defined it inside TypeScript file. We are asking for image read permission. Once we get that, we get the permission, and then we come back on this on activity result. And here once the user picks an image, we get the URI for that particular image. We convert the image to a bitmap, and then if this mat is not already initialized, we initialize it. Then here we do utils.bitmap to mat, and we apply it. For Gaussian blur you can use this particular code. For median blur you can use this particular code. So you just uncomment this if you want to use it. You can apply both of them simultaneously as well, so depends on you. Then we are converting our bitmap to a byte output stream. So because I want to convert it to base 64, so as you can see I'm converting it to base 64. Because this is a turbo module, I can't directly apply or send a bitmap, because sending bitmap from native Android set to React Native is not supported as far as I know. But if you have a better way, do let me know in the comments. Otherwise we will have to store the image somewhere and send the URI, but again that would become complicated. That's why I didn't do that. Then here we are just displaying a toast message, and here we are also overriding that particular method. Alright, so this was for Android. For iOS we have to create this fabric component. Also one more thing for Android which you have to do is go to the Android folder, go to not settings.gradle, app, src main, android manifest.xml. Here I have added this read media images as well as read external storage permission, so that we can read the images. and inside java main activity.kt I have also added this OpenCV loader.init local. So I have also added this complete method so that our OpenCV is initialized as soon as our app is loaded, and make sure you add all these required imports. Also, if you haven't already done this, make sure you have enabled the new arc enable to true, because this is required for the new architecture. Then coming back to iOS side, we only need to create this fabric component. So for that you can follow this particular documentation. Now firstly we will have to, after creating this folder, we have to create package.json file, and again I have copy pasted everything from docs, and only this name has been changed, this has been changed, this has been changed. Next I have created a podspec file, again I have copy pasted it from the docs, and this name has been changed. Then I have created a JS folder, inside that I have created a TypeScript file, again I have copy pasted it from docs, and it just takes a URL of the image, and this name has been changed. The next thing which we will have to do is go to package.json, and here I have also added this React Native image picker dependency. Forget about this too, which we will do in a bit, but add this dependency as well, which we will use on iOS side. Then go to app.tsx, and here as you can see I have added this check. If it is Android, display this Android view component which I have created. If it is iOS, display this iOS view component which I have created. Now coming to Android view, so firstly you will have to open your terminal, go to the root of your React Native project, and then run this particular command. Okay, once you run this particular command, you will have to do cd ... It will move you outside your React Native project. Then you will have to run this particular command. So as I told you, RTN my picker is only for Android, that's why as you can see I'm only applying it for Android. If we apply it for iOS, then you will have to add implementation detail for iOS as well, which doesn't really make sense. So but here instead of rnapp you will have to write your own project name. So as you can see my project name is rnapp, so replace rnapp over here as well as over here with your own project name. Then you will have to cd to the main Android folder, and then run this particular command. So this will do code generation for Android. So this is done, and this is done. Alright, then inside Android view, firstly we are importing our RTN my picker. Then I have created one use state for image URI as well. Okay, I am not sure why this is already declared. Oh, okay, so maybe you can define this as data, I guess. Alright, so data, and this should be also data. Okay, and here you can see I have created this set image URI of react.useState. Then here we are requesting for multiple permission, read media images as well as read external storage, and once they are granted, either of this granted, then I am calling pick image method, and once we have this data we call set image URI and assign it to our data. So that's what I am calling inside this button click, so this particular method. And once we have that proper image URI, which would be base 64, which we can display this inside our image component from React Native, and here I have just applied some styles. Now coming to iOS, firstly again you will have to go back to your terminal. You will have to cd to the main iOS folder, and firstly run this particular command. So this will do enable the new architecture for iOS. Then you will have to cd ... come to the root of your React Native project, and then run this particular command. So we are basically, I have already told you, right, we are installing React Native image picker. Then we have to run this particular command, so rtn my image view fabric component. Then again you will have to do cd ... It will move you outside your React Native project, and then run this particular command, but instead of rnapp write your own project name over here as well as over here. And given this rtn my image view is only for iOS, I am only assigning it for iOS. Okay, and here we again have to cd to the main iOS folder which you see, and run this particular command. So it will do pod installation both for React Native image picker as well as rtn my image view, and do all the code generation for us. Once that is done, you will have to open the XC workspace of iOS inside Xcode, make sure the minimum iOS deployment target is at least 14 over here as well as over here. Also inside info.plist, make sure you add this privacy photo library usage description permission. Then coming back to the header file which we have created, I'll try to explain as much as I can. So here firstly I have defined two methods, Gaussian blur and median blur. It takes a UI image and returns a UI image back. This kernel size is how much blur you want to apply. Then coming back to our Objective-C file, now even I am not really good at this. I have copied it from online sources. So firstly we have to create a mat, so that's what this code does. And then we are overriding our Gaussian blur and median blur, and we are doing some implementation. So we are getting our mat, then we are applying this Gaussian blur method, and here we are applying our median blur method, and then we are converting it to a UI image and returning back that UI image. Then I have created this header file. So again I have copy pasted this from the docs of Fabric component. Everything is same, only this name has been changed. And the reason why I am writing this inside the main XC workspace, if you read the docs, they might be telling you that create an iOS folder over here. The reason why I'm not doing that, because I want to integrate it with Swift. Alright, that's why I'm doing this stuff inside XC workspace. So I create this header file. Then you have to create this RT my image view manager Objective-C file, and change the extension to .mm, so it is Objective-C++. Again copied it from docs, only this name has been changed, this has been changed, this has been changed, and we take a URL. Then again I have created an Objective-C file, make sure change the extension to .mm, so it is Objective-C++. Again I have copy pasted it from docs. And here you can see I have just changed this particular names, everything else is same. And this rnapp is my bridging header name, as you can see, rnapp. So change rnapp with your own bridging header name. And here we are just importing this and commenting out this, because we are writing the code in main iOS folder. Then again this has been copied from docs, only names has been changed. This has been copied from docs, name has been changed. Here we are initializing our Swift file. This has been copied from docs, only this name has been changed. This entire thing has been copied from docs, only we are adding some width and height to our UI view. Then here we are initializing our Swift file, adding our Swift file image view to our view. Then this entire thing has been copied from docs, only this prop has been changed. And here we are referencing the URL of our image view. And again this entire thing has been copied from docs, only this names has been changed. Next you will have to create a Swift file called my image view, and it import photos, it extends UI view, and it has this @obgc members. And here we have our UI image view. So once we set the URL prop, basically we are converting it to a proper URL. We create a UI image view from it, and if you want to apply Gaussian blur, you can just uncomment this. If you want to apply median blur, you can just use this particular code. You can of course apply them simultaneously as well if you want to. Then we just do image view dot image equal to new image, and inside init we are just initializing our image view and applying some NS layout constraints to it. So yeah, I think that should be it. Now we will just I'll just run my application and show you guys the output. Okay guys, so this is the output for Android. I'm applying as you can see, I'm applying Gaussian blur for now. I'll just click on pick photo, I'll click on allow, I'll just select this particular photo, and here you can see Gaussian blur was applied. Similarly I'll just select another photo as well. As you can see Gaussian blur was applied. Now I will show it for median blur as well, but all you have to do is comment this out and uncomment this, but you will have to change this inside VS Code. Don't directly change it inside Android Studio, because if you run it will work, but suppose tomorrow you did some other changes and then run this code generation command again, your changes which you made exclusively in Android Studio will get lost. So make sure you make changes in VS Code. I will just quickly do those changes, run all those code generation command again which I have already shown you, and come back with the output. Okay, now I will show it for median blur. I'll click on pick photo again, I'll select one image. As you can see median blur was applied, I'll select some other image as well. As you can see, median blur was applied. Now let's go to iOS. Okay guys, so this is the output for iOS. I am just applying median blur, and as you can see, the output might look a little weird to you because I am running it on my iPad. If you run it on iPhone, it would be fine. I'll just select this image, and here you can see median blur was applied. If I select some other image, as you can see, median blur was applied. Now for applying Gaussian blur, I can just uncomment this and comment this out. Now I don't need to run code generation command again, because we haven't written this code inside an iOS folder of VS Code. We have directly written it inside the XC workspace, and I already have my Metro bundler running, so I can directly press the run button from Xcode, and it will take care of for us like everything of all the changes. So hopefully it should be available. Just a minute. Okay, so this is for Gaussian blur. I'll just click on this button. I'll pick one image, and here you can see Gaussian blur was applied. If I select some other image, this is how Gaussian blur was applied. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.